The story of the Indian nation is a tale of astounding progress, a miracle of democracy, extraordinary diversity, and above all, a strong and noble people.
So Donald Trump has a busy time ahead. His domestic agenda is packed for the year. Despite that, he's planning some trips abroad. Reports say Trump wants to visit India. We don't have the dates yet, nor do we have an official statement. But Donald Trump has apparently spoken to his advisors. He talked about a possible trip to India. There's a good chance it will coincide with the Quad Summit. Remember, India was supposed to host the summit last year, the Quad Summit, but Joe Biden could not make it to India. So India and the US swapped hosting rights, which means this year, New Delhi is supposed to organize the Quad meeting. Chances are Trump will come for that. But the leaders could meet much before that, as early as next month. Prime Minister Modi is traveling to Paris to attend a special summit on artificial intelligence. In fact, India is the co-chair for this summit, and Trump is also expected to be there in Paris. So chances are we could see a meeting on the sidelines. If not, it could happen in Washington, D.C. Prime Minister Modi is expected to visit the U.S. in the coming months. Back in 2017, he was quick to call on Trump. Trump took charge in late January, and Prime Minister Modi visited in June. So expect the leaders to meet soon. Of course, this is engagement at the highest level. We will see other meetings before that, like between the foreign ministers. India's S. Jaishankar is in Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. He is expected to hold talks with Trump's incoming Secretary of State. His name is Marco Rubio. Rubio is expected to be confirmed by the Senate today. After that, he can hold official talks. And those talks will be key for India and the US to understand priorities, to work out dates for the Quad, and to establish a rapport. India is clear-eyed about the challenge ahead. Minister Jaishankar highlighted it over the weekend. He said, "We are on the cusp of a new era." Listen in.
Today, we may well be on the cusp of a new era. One where the United States departs from an established tradition of foreign policy and focuses on its own interests rather than in shaping the world itself. Those most anxious right now are the nations and organizations who are deeply invested in the current order. For the countries who are less invested, it could very well be a time of opportunity. New openings and novel practices could create space that did not exist earlier. India falls in the latter category.
The good news is India has handled Trump before. The bad news is that may not count for much, because this Trump is different. He is armed with a bigger mandate. He is threatening tariffs on virtually everyone, and he is equipped with new tools. Specifically, Elon Musk and X. Trump can use Musk to put indirect pressure on other countries, to run online campaigns against them. We've seen that in Europe, in the UK, and in Canada. At the same time, Musk is a proxy for Trump. If you convince him, you can maybe sway Trump. A lot of countries seem to be realizing that. Italy's Prime Minister has a warm friendship with Elon Musk. Even China's Vice President met him on Sunday. Perhaps that's a strategy that India should think about, because the power centers have shifted in DC. It's not just about congressmen or caucuses anymore. Trump's donors and his advisors have a big role now. You cannot ignore them. Beyond that, there are two challenges: China and tariffs. On the campaign trail, Trump was tough on Beijing. He promised a flurry of tariffs. But after winning, he sent mixed signals. First, he invited Xi Jinping to his inauguration. Then he spoke to Xi Jinping on the phone last week. And now he's planning to visit China. Reports say Trump wants a trip to Beijing in the first 100 days, so India will be watching out for hints. Will Trump's poll rhetoric extend to policies? Or will he sort things out with Xi Jinping? Which brings us to tariffs. Trump has called India the tariff king. And Indian exports to the US are valued at $77 billion. So tariffs would hurt Indian producers. The question is, how will New Delhi respond? Some believe that Trump's policy may have an unintended consequence. It may force India and China to cooperate, maybe expand their BRICS partnership or build alternatives to American systems. Others believe that India could secure concessions from Trump. We've said that India is in a diplomatic sweet spot. Maybe New Delhi could leverage that position, use it to gain exemptions from Trump's policies. Of course, this depends on a number of variables, like how aggressive Trump's tariffs are, how he handles China, and how flexible he is on India. I guess these are busy times for Indian officials. With Biden, they knew what to expect. With Donald Trump, it's back to guesswork. The first 100 days should give us some clues.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.